All right, we back. Think we back. 1280, 720. Uh-oh. It seems like it's doing a little bit better. It's something I'm going to have to increase in order to make this work. It's something I'm going to have to increase in order to make this work. So, we'll get it together. So, anyway, I'll do some research later on today and see how we can go and upgrade the quality without the because the frame, it says we're not dropping any frames, but something is happening to where it don't appears that the signal is getting through. All right. So I'll look into it. I don't know. Maybe I might need to increase. I'm gonna look at some settings and see what are some of the best settings to do it, because my machine say we can go 1280. What is it? 12 whatever. Right now we have 720. We just downgraded, so we could actually go a little bit higher, and be able to put out the information. But it is what it is. So let's go on and keep it moving. Where we at? So family, let's do our toast. We gonna have the lines open this morning because we up early. I'm moving early on the journey today. Hopefully we get back. I'll be able to take this little walk around the block and see where we gonna start. Getting our run in, getting our exercise in, right? But here we go. I found that I still had some ambrosia left. So let's go get it. Oh, kind of lively there. I'm going to pick up the honey. I'm going to have the tea bags made today. And after that, we will start brewing maybe tonight. Because I got the water. I got the tea. So we're going to start brewing and keep everything moving. Look at this foolishness here. So maybe it's not me. Maybe it's the internet. Maybe it's the internet. Probably is. Let's see. But it is what it is. So let's go on and keep it moving. Where we at? So family, let's do our toast. We gonna have the lines open this morning because we up early. Okay. All right. It appears. All right. Let's get it. All right. So family, we about to do that toast. First, giving honor to the creator by whatever name you choose to call that creator. We lift up our glass. We salute that creator, and we say the word of power, Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? We go to our list of our ancestors. And, of course, saluting those personal ancestors, because that's why we started the show. Lifting up our glass, we use the mighty word of Ashe. We got Miles Brown, Miss Ann Robin, the Texas, and Davis, Herman Brown, Senior, Rosalie Tilly, Georgia William Walter, Christopher Penny Gasson, Lena, Uncle Chris, Fiend, Cleveland, Geneva Brown, Margaret Ellis, Wash Ellis, Cecil Ellis, Alvaro Brown, Gina Gaines, Herman Brown II, Barbara Twiggs, Wash Ellis, Katie Ellis, Nikki Ellis, Jamon Jones, Jeremiah Tapper, John Fallar, Montague Pittman, El Nomo, Exapet, Ra, Malika Fakur, Dr. Marianne Williams, Kojo Kamal, Elder Farmer, Elder Millie Dixon, Tony Clark, Pastor Yusuf Weston, Elder Algenie, Elder Ron Coleman, Elder Robert Donald, Snapper, Burfro, Hector Jr., J. Edwards, Carlisle Harris, Grace Lundy, Inez Harris, William Bell Moss, Phyllis Rose, Sterling, Lucy Wright, Derek L. Pullian, the Luxter brother, Miss Eda Brooks Crawley, Miss Marie Nelson, Mr. Frederick Crawley Sr., Miss Jerry Brunson, Miss Alonzo Johnson, Miss Marie McDowell, Janice Foster, Charles Jordan, Kel Smith, Walter Smith, Richard Trigg, Francis Johnson, Mary Franklin, Jimmy Williams, Daniel Ford, George Gibson, Nana Lorella Clark, Inez McCrae, Fritz Clark, Frankie Justice, Katie Justice, Derek Renneman, Virginia Rogers, Reverend James Smith, Louis Henderson, Calvin Spratling, Mary Elizabeth Walker, Raymond Walker Sr., Sarah Jane Carter, Michael Ford Jr., Kellen D. Russell, Susie B. Smith, Teresa Clay, Milton Dale Hodge Jr., Herman Copeland, Mildred Copeland, Jenny Clayburg, Beatty Sarah Weller, Vita Farmer, Aunt Gosa Sue, Cheryl Harvey, Aunt Charmaine, Aunt Evelyn Theolis Hasbury, Harvey Hasbury Sr., Harvey Hasbury Sr., Leonard Dickinson, T.C. Islam, Terrell Dunbar, Will Thomas, Sarah Berry, Mark Walsh, Merle B. Thornton, Pearl G. Thornton, Ida Johnson, Florence M. Carter, Joanne Thornton, Erica Tricia Lewis, Juanita Wright, Robert Wright, George Wright, Mary Eliza Frederick Davis, Mary Elizabeth Rogers, Mary Esther Keachler Reese, Linda Watson Hammonds, Jarrell Giles Watson, Sparrow Slimmy, Selvin Lewis, Andrew Holmes, Percy Moore, Mildred Owens, Booker T. Bowden, Charlie Hunt, Sammy Stober, Heather Pearson, Sturgeon Thornton, Richard Thornton, Lavinia Hall, Freeman Bankster, Mary Moss, Sophia Peacock, Willie Thornton, Napoleon Kempty, Mark Ramsey, Paul Ramsey, Matt Ramsey, David Ramsey, Charles E. Thornton, Frankie Quells, Rainier Thornton, Bernice Quells, Ernestine Jackson, Frankie Johnson, Teresa Mormon, Leon Johnson, James W. West Sr., James Parham, Dana Jones, Henry Farmer, Mary Chavez, Leon Grace, Bessie Johnson, Hanley Vester, Mary Moreland, Paul Moreland, Elder Caleb, Rosemary Martineri, Aldama Ted Wellman, Fred Douglas Triggs, the second being the Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson, Eugene Jackson, we're somewhere around here. Delma Thomas, Luther Berry, Eleanor Hart, Frank Russell, Derek Douglas, Vina Triggs, Reverend Eddie Moore, Helen Fuller, Eugene Jackson Sr., Eugene Jackson Sr., Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy Alexander, Arthur Richard Ellis, Silas Alexander, Charles Maxwell, Percy Alexander, Arthur Mendel, Stanley Lockhart, Ricky Lockhart, William Lockhart, Woodrow Lockhart, Brandon Porter, Deacon Hargrove, Carlos Sawyer, Andrew Parker, Doris Donald, Ellis Murphy, D'Amico Russell, Didi Monares, Gina Ruth Jones, Jana Callahan. All right, let's turn it over. Let's see if we showing up yet. Looked like the whole picture dropped. All right, is anybody out there? Can I get some type of response so I know what's going on? Because it looked like we froze on Restream IO 2. Are we being blocked? Is this a conspiracy? None dare call it a conspiracy. Anyway, we got William Walter West, Nigel Paris, Elder Basiji Fulani, Jim Robson, Gladys Johnson, Valerie Clark, John and Mary Sullivan, Dirk Johnson, Antonio Johnston, Denise Wallace, DeFritas Hines, Anna Bostic, Anna Bostic, Winifred Scandal Berry, Wilson Haley, Emma Hine, Phyllis Lee, Eugene Spratley, Kevin Spratley, Charles Wooden, Penny Brown, Roy Lee Printup Jr., Miriam Johnson, Wilbur Longmire, Ethan Cannon, Janice Carter, Michael Carter, Leon Pina Carter, Margaret Carter, William Carter, Lisa Jordan, Charles Lee Mosley, Dorothy R. Blair, Ransom Evans Sr., Sam Evans Sr., Nayland Blair Sr., Edward Stevens, Sue Ann Stevens, Joe Davis, Timothy Butler, Gene Holmes, Dana Jones, Peter Charles, Christy Nichols, Cardinal Robinson, Rosemary Charles, Ada Pearl, Bob Ingalls, Jack Wallace, Warren M. Finch, Warren P. Finch, Tim Ingalls, Audrey Finch, William Billingsley Jr., Jennifer Sensabaugh, Hazel Gaston, Jerry Brantley, Brian Watson Jr., Kaniko Parsons, Jason Kathy Bradford, Thomas Bradley, also known as Uncle also known as Uncle Buki, also known as Gypsy, Reverend Roosevelt Word the First, Stacey Trice, Frank Smith, Mother Bertha, Michael Leonard, David Brown, Ruth Carter, June Cox, Ruth Cox, Paula Cox, Ronald Irvin, Judy Hubbard, Irene Johnson, Francis Booth Jefferson, Dan Wilkinson Sr., Emma McClendon, Jerry Doyle, Amita Robinson, Mary Nichols, Patricia Williams, Shabaka Teray, Greg G. 2 Gibson, Donna Hill, Richard Glebus, Lee Irby, Tommy Irby, Boy Irby, Jim Gaucher, George and Hallie Johnson, Archie Margaret Armstead, Diane Scott, Erica Armstrong, Claire Fox, Gene Evans, Archie Beck, Anna McGill, Charles McDaniel, Christine Cottrell, Ann Becker, Alice Arnold, Arthur Arnold, Hattie Reed, Charles Reed, Eulin Andrew Baker, Patricia and Edward Brooks, Gwendolyn and Bob Hatch, Kilmer Vernon, Bradley Kim, Janie Harriet Tubman Case, Spencer Sturgis, Sally Mae Baker, Ethel Baker, Creola Baker, Geneva Baker, Aaron Eno Baby Hatch, as Senior, Mally Miller, Housie Hatch, Dad Cleveland, Mother Gibson, Axe Nixon, John Bowie, Lester and Rachel Saunders, Dorita Ross, Riola Ross, Robert Nelson, Francis Stevenson, Leroy Stokes, Neely Johnson, Fletcher Swan, Maddie and Charlie Scott, Ida Casey, Thomas Cofer, Vivian Stevenson, Mona Ann Lewis, Cornell Lyman Lewis, John Jackson, William Dallas Lewis, Mary Francis, Chappelle Jackson, Michael Slade, Joanne Perkins, Richard Jackson, Walter Ford Dawson, Big Mama, Nanny Harris, Eva Ford, James Harrison, Margaret Towns, Mary Williams, Leroy Q. Heath Sr., Albert Moore, Miss Vanilla, Albert Motley, Geraldine Elizabeth, Douglas Thompson, Erton Houston, Lud Alls, Elijah Alls, Jerome Alls, Anywhere Staten, Joe Jamel Alls, Ann Pierce, Donald Carter, Lily Green, Nathan Green, Bad Vaughn, John Dewey, Ruth Beard, Tim Butler, Raymond Laura Newton, J.B. Foggy, Thomas Newton Sr., Barbara Naeem, Jeanette Sanders. Where am I at? Lost my place. Jeanette Sanders. There we go. Jerry C. Sanders, Roy Pruitt, H.A. Brownlee Sr., Henry Wilson, Rufus Jenkins, Minnie Wilson, Catherine Sanders, Muriel Ellis, Elizabeth Sanders, Harriet Irby, Mildred Armstead, Margaret Armstead, Captain Anthony, Ruby Brown, Charles Walker Sr., Charlie Walker, Cecil Russell, Darren Irvin, Haroon Phillips, William Ford, Margaret Logan, Phyllis Barnett, Lee Irvin Sr., Michael Irvin, Ozella Watson, Hugo Watson, John Caldwell Sr., Robbie Lee Caldwell, Nevaeh Mitchell, Ron McCormick Sr., Sabrina Easley, Rashawn Easley, Javea McCormick, Barbara Ann Reed, Dorothy Ann Reed, John Reed, Shekamaha Reed Jr., John Reed Jr., Patricia Reed, Edward Benson Sr., Ethel H. McNair, Lloyd Fernandez, Declan Broadus, Reginald Albert, Mazarine Coper, George Swan, Imani Grayson, Charles Scott, Charles H. Scott, Michael Morgan, Charlene Morgan, Sybil Evans McNabb, Annie Ferguson, William Ferguson, Shelby McClendon. We also have Joetta Giles, James Carswell, Roberta Adams, also known as Aunt Sis, Elder Shaka McNair, Anthony Brown, Jonathan Ford, Lottie Gaucher, Cousin Tony, Michael Johnson, James Jimmy Johnson, Barbara Shang Lewis, Ronald Shelton Jr., Damian Top, Christina Banks, Joseph Bingham, Quincy, Mama, Aunt Lady, Abraham Isaac Cundiff, Aunt Barbara Lewis, Renee Johnson, Joy, Ryan Ross Riggins, Dermonte, Marcus Price, Ness Words, Marshawn McHale, Demetrius Beard, Herb Jefferson, Ralph Mickens, Eric Walker, Quasi Sample, Candace Simmons, Simon Clayton, Leonard Jones, Sade Garner, Melvin Scott, Sr., Elder Clarence Lumpkin, Elizabeth Johnson, Mr. Thorne, Johanna, Cassandra Lynette Lewis, Henderson Mosley, Charles Jordan, Henry Essex II, Fannie L. Webb, Dan Walton, Al T. Sue Walton, Emma Walton, James Randolph Giles, Sonny, Pete Walton, William Walton, Fred Powers. We got Elijah Juan Hakeem and Como, Alberta T. Davis, Charles Davis, Willie R. Mackey, Dr. Cream Mackey, Victor Bowden, Drusilla Kitty Berger, Lucy White, Robert Lee White, Emma Jean White Talton, Roger White, R. L. White, Jesse White, Ruby Jewel White, Johnson Carl White, Desi Woods, T.L.R. Woods Lennox, Jim Woods, Lizzie Woods, Juanita Alexander Brown, Cynthia Ann Wright, Richard Dorsey, Annie Simpson, Jamara Simpson, Regina Hopkins, Joseph Simpson, Eddie Dorsey, Eleanor Hopkins, Edward Webster, Alice Webster, Ivy Webster, Arnella Willis, Ethel Lane, Samantha DeMond, Ethel Marshall, Steve Dougie Shelton, William Bill Walker, Carl Rico Johnson, Kim Gray, Stuart A. Johnson, Edward Young III, Isaac Jackson Sr., Drusilla Merle, Wayne Young, Christina Young, Thomas Young, Frank Merle, Sylvester Foster, James and Lizzie Winston, Abe and Julia Lawrence, Ozell Leathers Sr., Gladys Coper, Ozell Leathers Jr., Geneva Jackson, R.J. Lacey, also known as Tooth the Don, Sarah Winston, Chris Kinney, Margaret Minter. We got Mary Smith, Juanita Florine Stith Gibbs, Carl William, Duncan Jr., Janet Callahan, Denny Hill, Miko D-Nice Hill, Andre Martin, Mabel Williams, Terry Brown, Teresa Biddle, Lavonna Kincaid, Carla Sawyer, Reverend Jesse Porter, Deacon Ezekiel Dennis, Brenda Porter, Craig Lee Jones, Granny Beulah, Papa Al Riesling, George Gamble, George Gamble Sr., Inez Smith, Joseph Garrett, LaShonda Jamar, Leroy Riley, Mona, Yolanda Hunter, Yvonne Patrice Turner, Herman Reeves, Amanda Reeves, Josh Reeves, Lena Kate, Herman Reeves, Pam Johnson, Vera and Reese Fisher, Jerry Johnson McCallum, also known as Mama Moon. We have Sheila Ann Lee. We got Panchita Alba, Donald Brooks, Barbara Moses, Ida Spate, and Ira Branson. And we also have Eric Winston. We lift up our glass. We salute all of our ancestors with the mighty word of Ashe. And man, we doing it again, family. I'm up kind of early. I'm trying to get a 21-day challenge popping off, but not right now. I'm waiting for the 21-day Nguza Saba Challenge 21-day the book to be available. Then that's when we'll do it. Wait for the book to be available. That's when I'm gonna get it. Because we're gonna work it out. So from there, family, where do we go? Right now, we move to the present moment, and as I do every day, I want to give all of the Umoja babies a round of applause. A round of applause. Yes, y'all. And you don't stop. Give Give those Umoja babies a round of applause because you deserve it. Y'all doing that work. Also, I want to ask you to open up your reticular formation and seek out the principle of the day. And the principle of the day is Umoja, right? I want you to seek out Umoja. If you don't know what Umoja is, or you don't know why we call today Umoja, then you need to go on to the free GNJecourse.com, free GNJecourse.com. Now, family, also, also along those lines, today is Umoja, but meiotic principles. We got the principle of truth. We got violet, which is the color you see by my shirt. Mentalism, which is the hermetic law today. Male name today is Kojo. Female name is Ajua. Ajua, right? So we lift up our glass for this present moment, right? All the energy that's in this moment, we have at our disposal. We could use it to build, or we could use it to destroy, or we just don't use it. You know what I'm saying? Realizing that when we don't use it, we are giving away our future generations' place and time. So we lift up our glass and we salute this moment and the power in this moment. We say Ashe. From there, family, where do we go? I'll tell you where we go. It's a very simple journey. From there, we move on to where? To our future generations. We lift up our glass to our children's children, on to infinity. Family, we lift up our glass and we salute them and we say Ashe. From there, family, we lift up our glass, we salute all of our relations and we say Ashe. From all of our relations, family, we lift up our glass for that personal toast, that selfish toast. Right now, family, what is it that you need right now to move towards your greatness? We lift up our glass for that. Ashe. Then I ask you to lift up your tribe, family. Lift up your families. Lift up your tribe. You call ours Giame. Lift it up. Come on now. Lift it up. All right. Ashe. From there, family, I want to toast the most magnificent, the most beautiful, the most wise, the most inspiring individual in the room. I want to lift up my glass to you. I salute you, and we say Ashe. I need a smaller glass. Ashe. 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 Family, I wish you peace, power, joy, and 100 years. Nice and mature. All right, so family, we got the black line open. So let me go on and send it out. BL. We're going to start trying to do it like this. You know what I'm saying? Because school is starting back. So I'm going to be getting up a little bit earlier. Trying to get back into the rhythm and pushing the time back just a little ways. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of school starting back, I gotta go and get Cleve registered. I don't know. I gotta go and get Cleve together, and because we moved into a new area, I need to make sure that my man is in school. Make sure he in school. All right, they say we live right here. Let's see how it look. I'm moving early on the journey today. Hopefully we get back. I'll be able to take this little. Give those Umoja babies a round of applause because you deserve it. Y'all doing that work. All right. Also, it's still freezing. I don't know what's going on, but over here it says we ain't dropping no frames, even though for some reason it's using 64% CPU. I don't understand that, but it said we're not dropping any frames. So I don't know. So maybe the network's still asleep. Who knows and shit. But anyway, Black Line is open, 614-556-4535. Let's go and look at some of the stuff that we have on the Gianni Journey timeline. All right. Of course, looking at our stock. Okay, wow. People reached, they said 22,872 in the last 28 days. I don't know how different that is from yesterday. They say we down 40%. Whatever. Post engagement 6,999. They say we are up 24%. Okay. So we're doing something right as far as page engagements, but page likes. They say page likes in the last 28 days we got 30, down 75%. Well, that's a click a day. Matter of fact, that's a little bit over a click a day. I'll take that. All right. Let's see. So, of course, we still got Dr. Reba up at the top. She had 229 views, 36 comments, 14 shares. Thank you for sharing. So now, here's something that I wanted to look at. We got the blackcontract.us, a contract with Black America addressing racial inequality. Now, this is Ice Cube's plan. I want to look at this. And we can have a discussion around it, because I know it's a lot of people. I ain't gonna say a lot of people, but people like, well, what Ice Cube doing talking about this? I mean, this is I want to go over it, but it won't let me go to it. All right, I see you, Ice Cube, because I want to look over a couple of pairs, because we got T.I., we got hold on. We got T.I. We got this man right here. I think his name is Robert Smith. Robert Smith has a plan as well. Gonna wait. So maybe, like, for example, my computer, for some reason the computer freezing. All right. And I also switched over to the page, and I didn't bring y'all with me. I need somebody on the other side, like Brother Hatim. What you doing, man? It's not responding at all. What's going on? All right. Whoa. Are you sure? Yeah, accept risk. Thank you. A contract with Black America addressing racial inequality. Leave a comment. Click here to view the entire contract with Black America. Now, we ain't going to be able to go over the whole thing, but we can at least, he said long version. He said, oh, shit. He said the long version. All right. So we got Derek Hamilton, professor and executive director of Kirwan Institute at the Ohio State University, and incoming Henry Cohen, professor of economics and urban policy, university professor at the New School. All right, let's go back. Let's back up. If this the long plan, we don't want, because we don't want to look at the long plan right now. We want to take some time, and we want to go over this, and then we come back and go a little bit more in depth. So this is the 4-page draft, but we come back and we could critique the longer one a little bit less. Join the fight for a better Black America. All right, let's do it. What do y'all say? Right, y'all going over here and sign up too. I mean, because we got, like I said, regardless of who bringing the message, right? In some form or fashion, we're going to have to get active. And some of us going to have to choose who we're going to be down with. And, and it's like, cool. Some of us, some going to do Antonio and Yvette. Other people. But the key piece is that we got people like Ice Cube. We got people like T.I. who have audiences of people that are listening. You know what I'm saying? And going off of their say. And I think it would be wise for us as a group to use that. All right, but let's go. Let's go look. A contract with Black America addressing racial inequality. This is the short version to understand the overall approach. It is followed by the longer, more complete version and also includes specific plans for neo-construction and job and education, along with a preface by renowned scholar Derek Hamilton. After 400 years of unequal treatment, Black America have had enough with gradual reform in a nation that prides itself as the world's greatest democracy. While well-intentioned solutions may have been tried, it is simply too much to ask an oppressed people to stay patient, to finally create the more perfect union all Americans deserve. It is time for a complete paradigm shift in how we run our institutions and operate our country. While the contract with Black America may seem radical to some, the results will be a harmonious society that benefits everyone, rather than a more radical alternative, which is watching the great American experiment come apart at the seams. Very true. We talk about that all the time. You know what I'm saying? Far as when you do right by black folks, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is going to benefit. Everybody's going to be able to benefit from America just making this one right decision. The problem facing America are too deep and wide to simply reform one area or another. Long-lasting solutions demand a comprehensive, thorough rethink of America so that each new approach in each area supports the success of the other. This contract with Black America will provide conceptual approaches in several areas. Black opportunity and representation. The case for neo-reconstruction, an aggressive initiative meant to redress past wrongs systematically imposed on Black Americans and Native Americans economically throughout many generations, wrongs that have had a severe negative impact both economically and educationally. For Black Americans to be eligible, they must provide documentation proving their descent from at least one enslaved person. Now, problematic here. Hold on. So, an aggressive initiative meant to redress past wrongs systematically imposed on Black Americans and Native Americans. Now, where is Digo? Where you at? Right, Digo, come on out. So now, cause y'all already know how I feel about that type of stuff right here. Black Americans and Native Americans, right? So now, because like I said, the Native Americans, they need their thing and they need their own thing. So but after listening to Q, one of the things that he is talking about is that some of us are Native Americans. So how can I put it? For Black Americans to be eligible, they must provide documentation proving their descent from at least one enslaved person. So what does the Native American have to provide to prove to receive benefits since they are on this form? Because the issue is, for me, that anytime we put anybody else on anything with us, once again, we always come up short. And in any movement that we got going forth right now today, I want to make sure that we come out with the lion's share. That's it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, one of the reasons I started pouring that selfish libation, right, is that, in order for us to really be able to take care of others, we got to first be able to take care of ourselves. So I'm just saying, all right. He said affirmative action for secondary school, colleges, and university, public and private. I don't know what that means. Local funding for schools will be determined by equal per student fund for all schools throughout the state. Okay. Mandatory civil rights and anti-racism classes in all elementary school. Mandatory civil rights and anti-racism classes in schools. And how about true American history? Black representation on all government, civil rights investigative bodies, reform gerrymandering, more polling sites in minority and Black neighborhoods. Juneteenth become a federal holiday. All right. Call in 614-556-4535. Any beef, any major beef with anything that the brother's asking for right now? Any major beef with anything that the brother and his team, because I want you to understand, this is not just Ice Cube. Ice Cube, because, I heard people talking about, you don't know nothing. But he went and pulled on some people who know some things, right? We got to understand some of these brothers got enough money, be like, look, I'm going to pay you a little bit of money. Come on over here. Help me structure this. You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of what's happening. And they probably only have to pay these brothers, right? Because some of these brothers and sisters have been looking at this information for a very long time, right? And it's like it's many ways to crack an egg. You throw it up because you know what I'm saying. So we're going to have to be multi-pronged in how we approach dealing with the whole reparations question. I am just thrilled by the fact that it is part of the conversation. It's becoming a conversation, one that you can have and no longer have people look at you like you crazy. Do you understand? Because I want y'all to think about when we started talking about this whole reparations, people. I would have this conversation and people would try to shut it down. You know what I'm saying? Try to shut down the conversation because there ain't no way that's ever ain't no way there you begging white first. So then, I come back because this is why I keep on saying you got to build your talking points. So at first people like, you're begging the white man for, and that would kind of shut you down. But as you start getting used to these conversations, you start learning how to be like, it ain't begging, we're old. You know what I'm saying? Do you tell a person that comes that calls you for your mortgage if it's late? Do you tell them to stop begging? No, they're calling because there is a debt due, and that's what we're doing. And you start learning the talking points, and you start throwing the stuff back at people, and they start. Then eventually, you get some people like, "I'm with him. I'm with him." Right? You know what I'm saying? You ain't gonna never give us. Nah, let's go on with that, man. Go on with that. They never give. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got no money. Oh, then all of a sudden, COVID come, and out of the blue, they pulled $3 million out their ass. $3 trillion. Just pulled it out, and just starts distributing money. So the money is there. The money could be made, right? And the money could be introduced in a way where it would not have a hazardous effect upon the national economy. We could spread this out over 30 to 50 years. Bank lending and finance reform. I don't want no goddamn loan. I'm just saying. Don't want no goddamn loan. Bank and lending and finance reform. Although the black population is roughly 13.4% of the nation, approximately only 3% of loans and credits are given to black people, whether for credit cards, home mortgage, or black-owned businesses. Wow. In addition, only 1% of banks are black-owned or led, and only 1% of state and federal pensions fund investments go to black-owned businesses. 1% of the state and federal pensions funds. Wow, that's a lot of money. In the meantime, the Federal Reserve is flooding the banks with liquidity, why isn't 13.4 of the money going to black businesses? Black families will have to deal with the inflation that will eventually come from the Fed spending so much money on the recovery. Now, yeah, we all gonna have to deal with that. That's why I ran out and grabbed my computer. I told y'all that. But I couldn't get it because by the time it got here, it was coming during COVID. It looked like motherfuckers was playing soccer with my goddamn computer, so I had to send it back. But anyway, bank must lend a minimum of 13.4% to black-owned businesses or individuals. Rates to be same average rates as loans to white borrowers. Federal Reserve to allow a one-time interest-free loan free loan for home ownership. Federal Reserve to allow a one-time interest-free loan for home ownership. God damn. Government pension funds control over $1 trillion. 13.4% of investment must go to black-owned businesses. Venture capital and private equity funds that take investments from public entities must invest 13.4% of their total funds in black-owned businesses. Wow. judicial and public policy reform. Ban all privately run prisons. Prison labor not allowed without consent. Declare the Ku Klux Klan a terrorist organization. Lynching become a federal hate crime. I think they just pushed that through. Free nonviolent offenders incarcerated for 10 years or longer. Free nonviolent offenders incarcerated for 10 years or longer. Free all prisoners for marijuana possession. Eliminate laws establishing mandatory minimums. Eliminate 3 strike laws. First offense for illegal drug use or possession to acquire government payment for entry into approved drug rehabilitation program rather than imprisonment. Once a prisoner completes sentence, voting rights are restored. I agree with that. The Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice reform through strict guidelines. EPA to inspect water supplies in all communities nationwide for lead and other forms of contaminants, fixing polluted water systems to deliver clean water will take priority in any future infrastructure spending bill. Constitutional amendment codifying expansion of the 13th Amendment by the courts. The amendment will abolish slavery in any form, including as punishment for crimes as allowed by the 13th Amendment for prison inmates. Further, it would declare unconstitutional any government-run system, including justice, policing, education, health and welfare, etc., that does not provide services on an equal basis to all citizens and communities. Police reform. Qualified immunity will... Ooh. Y'all heard that? Qualified immunity will be eliminated. Mandatory malpractice insurance to be carried by police officers and paid by police departments like lawyers and doctors do. As a result, an officer who creates too many legal actions will be dropped because of financial pressure by rising insurance rates rather than requiring another officer to cross the blue line. I want them crossing the blue line because they're supposed to be with the people. But anyway, municipalities liable for officer unconstitutional action. Overturned with legislation, Monell versus Department of Social Service Supreme Court case 436 U.S. 658 1978 that protected municipalities from unconstitutional actions by police. Okay, so that means that not only would the police officer have to carry insurance, at least when I'm reading, but the municipalities or the cities that they are participating in can also be held liable as well. So now we got a whole bunch of people that, in a sense, when a police officer goes out and act a fool, that he will be held responsible to. So it's like, boom, not only can he be sued, but also the municipality in which he serves can be sued. Which, and then on top of that, with that, what's the other one that they said? Qualified immunity will be eliminated. Oh, Lord have mercy. These police officers will have to think about the shit they do. They can no longer just go and react, especially when it's not a life-threatening situation, because, of course, police officers in life-threatening situations need to be able to do what they need to do. But we have witnessed non-life-threatening situations where motherfuckers have been shot running away from the police. You know what I'm saying? Motherfucker just upset because he got to chase a motherfucker. He shoots him, right? I mean, that's some bullshit. I didn't feel like running. I told him to stop. Nigga, there's no danger to you. There's no danger to the community. You shouldn't draw your gun. Federal laws regarding police misconduct to change standards from willfulness to recklessness. Police unions can be held liable, and yes, police unions can be held liable and sued for shielding bad cops, suppressing evidence, and testimony to that fact, and for knowing and recklessly disregard of material evidence that an officer is unfit mentally for the job. Mandatory dashboard and body cams. All right, we got that already, but elimination of no-knock warrants, yes. Mandatory name tags and affiliation requirements, yes. Chokeholds illegal nationwide. You might have to choke a motherfucker. I'm just saying. Yes, there's a few people that need to be choked up a little bit, but with all the other protections, you know what I'm saying? I think we could give him a little bit of room on that chokehold shit right there, because you gonna have to really be justified in your chokehold now. But I understand. Whistleblowers protection expanded. I could dig that. Tampering with evidence results in automatic dismissal from force and crime to intentional suspension from the force. I could dig that, but that's jail time. Fuck that. But I'm quite sure they got that in there. Newly discovered DNA evidence must be immediately considered to reverse wrongful convictions. I agree. Federal database open to public scrutiny containing all complaints, both internal and internal from the public or related disciplinary action. Once fired for cause, cannot be rehired. I could dig that. Creation of Office of Independent Prosecutors. Budget reallocation in what has been referred to as defunding police. 20% of 2020 budget, then going forward adjusted to inflation to be dedicated to improving conditions in lower class and black neighborhoods. Okay. Residency requirements, large, yes. Residency requirement, large percentage of police must live in jurisdiction. I agree with that. Community policing. Non-armed personnel set up to handle most cases. These including taking reports for crimes already committed, non-active situations, filing of complaints, non-violent crimes or disputes between neighbors, etc. Remove permanent placement of police officer from all grade, middle, and high schools. All right, cool. But now what we got to do is we're going to have to get in there and train some of our young people on how to deal with each other. What we're calling for is community action, which means it's going to require the entire community, because we cannot act like there's not an issue. All right, but go ahead. Continuation of training. Civil rights history will be taught the first month in police academy or other training. These classes should include history of black codes and Jim Crow. Okay, I can dig that. Reason for contact. Upon initial contact of any kind with a citizen, officer must state reason for contact when any individual is first approached. No duty to speak. Police not allowed to escalate a situation merely because a person refuses to talk to police or answer questions without an attorney. Reducing contact during traffic ticketing. Officer must immediately tell the driver why she was pulled over. Cannot search vehicle without an independent warrant. No need for those cited to sign tickets where possible. Military grade weapons, get rid of them. That's just fuck it. And eliminate civil and criminal asset for yes. It will be illegal for police officers to have sex with a detainee. Or hell yeah. What, it's not illegal? We got police out here just getting. What? It will be illegal for police officers to have sex with a detainee or suspect. That shit is not illegal now? In all quota-based policing. Hell yeah. Entertainment industry reform and reparations. Mandatory funding for black studios by the largest Hollywood studios, record companies, television studios, and networks to compensate for years of lack of support, stereotyping, and damage to black culture. Licensing of public airwaves to broadcast network require black produce content equal to 20% of the total content on the network as measured by time. Minimum of 13.4% black cast and crew on all major television and film productions. Okay. I mean, obviously, some of us haven't really looked at this. I mean, I'm like, yo, I mean, this shit is pretty good. This shit, I mean, I other than the Native American thing up at the beginning, I got questions about. But other than that, and we ain't even going to the 27 pager yet. We're gonna have to go into the 27 pager, right? But hold on, let's keep it going. Monument institutions eliminate all Confederate statues. Yes, because they were traitors to the goddamn country, without a shadow of a doubt. Yes, you know what I'm saying. All uses and displays of Confederate flags on government grounds or on property with public access is illegal. Rename all street schools, public structure, towns, scholarships, etc., named after Confederate soldiers or leaders. And family, I want y'all to understand that a lot of this stuff just didn't pop up because these were great guys. It popped up because of a push by the Daughters of the Confederacy. They formed after the Civil War, after the ass kicking. They continued the war, but they didn't continue the war physically. They went for the minds and the hearts of the people. Look up the Daughters of the Confederacy and see what they did. Now, what we're doing is we're turning that shit back. We're turning that shit back. It was organizations like the Daughters of the Confederacy that help maintain, that help put a lot of this shit the way it is for us. There's a whole bunch of those type of little organizations out there that we got to crush, destroy, eliminate. You know what I'm saying? Because they trying to crush, destroy, and eliminate us. All right. Rename all streets. Memorial built in Washington, D.C. to victims of police excessive force. Okay. All right. Okay. So we got some comments down here. We could check out some, but we ain't going to check out the comments because it's some other stuff I want to go. Remember, call in line 614-556-4535. Once again, call in line 614-556-4535. All right? Black line is open. All right, so this is the contract with Black America, and this is, in a sense, was put together by Ice Cube. So far impressive. It's 27 pages. I'm like, I am impressed. All right. Go and check it out. Like and share. Make some comments. Put some comments on Gianni Turn on, because maybe you might pick up something. And hell, like we gone and get into. We already in the conversation, but we get a little bit deeper into the conversation. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, that was a good read. Shit, I'm excited. Shit, I'm about to go out here and drive in the street, and I might run a couple of red lights and shit. I'm just feeling good. I'm just joking. Anyway, all right. So let's check out, because we got a little bit of time. Let's check out Robert Smith's bold plan to funnel billions to America's black-owned businesses. So Robert Smith, maybe a year ago or so, was talking about the 2% solution. Now, for those who are not familiar with Robert Smith was the brother that went to the HBCU and paid for all of the graduating people in the class that he was speaking to. Just basically, said, all this time you've been going to school, I'm paying for that. Now, imagine being that motherfucker who was paying your way through, and you was just struggling because you didn't want to be in debt, and you be like, damn. But nah, that type of person is always going to be all right. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, that type of person that get up and is hustling like that is always going to be all right. The 2% solution inside billionaire Robert Smith's bold plan to funnel billions to America's black-owned business. All right, so let's go and talk about this real quick. The nation's wealthiest black investor says the best way to begin to reverse corporate America's history of structural racism is for big banks and large companies to spend the next 10 years investing directly in banking, telecom, technology, education, and healthcare infrastructure to benefit the black community. Shit, unapologetically. He ain't say everybody. He ain't say people of color. Now let's see if it starts getting washed out as we move down, but into benefit the black community. Robert F. Smith, The private equity billionaire, who is the nation's richest black person, said on Thursday that the large corporations should use 2% of their annual net income for the next decade to empower minority communities. Smith made the comments after circulating a plan among CEOs that first calls on big banks to capitalize the financial institutions that service black-owned businesses and minority-run entrepreneurial ventures. In a keynote address he gave at the Forbes 400 Summit on Philanthropy, Smith, 57, said black and minority communities have been abandoned by large banks and are starved of the capital needed to build businesses and local institutions. Smith argued that pumping in what he described as reparative capital and investing directly in financial architecture would be a fast way to advance economic justice for black Americans. So now imagine the concept of ADOS, the Ice Cube plan. We take all the best pieces. See, because this is not about who right or who's wrong or whose idea. Take the best parts of all these strategies, and we need to run a full court press, because this dude is talking about companies. He's talking about companies. You know, I mean, this is incredible. Now, nowhere is structural racism more apparent than in corporate America, Smith said. If you think about structural racism and access to capital, 70% of African American communities don't even have a branch bank of any type. 70%. Wow. In recent days, Smith, whose net worth is estimated at $5 billion, has been sharing a concrete plan with the nation's business leaders that argued that an investment equal to 2% of net income over the next decade will be a small step toward restoring equity and mobility in America. He has implied that America's biggest corporations should feel compelled to support such a plan, given the exclusionary practices of many industries over several decades. Smith made the case that the average American household charitably donates 2% of its income annually and is asking corporate America to do the same. During the pandemic, Smith discovered the structural racism in banking firsthand as he tried to help black businesses and banks that serve black communities obtain Paycheck Protection Program loans. Smith found that black-owned businesses faced numerous structural obstacles and as a result had trouble accessing the emergency financing being provided by the federal government through the banking sector. The balance sheets of the nation's 4,700 banks are made up of $20.3 trillion of assets, but only 21 of those banks are black-owned or led. So what I want to know is, out of that 21%, I want to know how many are black-owned. And they have total assets of just $5 billion. So he has the same amount of money as 21 black banks. Less than 1% of America's commercial banking assets. Blacks make up 13% of the population in the United States. In his talk on Thursday, Smith pointed out that the net income of the 10 largest U.S. banks over the last 10 years was $968 billion. He figured just 2% of that would amount to $19.4 billion, which could be used to fund the core tier 1 capital of community development banks and minority depository institutions that primarily service black communities. Smith was also open to the idea that the capital could be donated in a tax-advantaged way to a nonprofit entity that could provide the core bank capital. See, and I already know people came up to me and be like, what about this community? What about that community? But we need it, family. We got to put the plane is going down. We got to put the mask. I'm going to give you one of those airplane. We got to put the mask on ourselves. That'll be our private signal. Just put the mask on. and we can save everybody else. Smith thinks the federal government could supercharge the effort by leveraging up the provided capital with the term asset-backed security loan facility that the Federal Reserve established to support consumers and business credit during the pandemic. The deprivation of capital is one of the areas that creates a major problem to the enablement of African American communities. Smith told the more than 200 top philanthropists who attended the 19th annual Forbes Philanthropy Summit, which this year was held on Zoom. The first thing to do is put capital into those branch banks to lend to these small businesses to actually create an opportunity set. Drive it into these small businesses, which employ 60% plus of African Americans. Now, this, as crazy as this sounds, this is pretty much what Brother Shaka was talking about yesterday with his Great Awakening piece. You know what I'm saying? This is an aspect of what Brother Shaka was talking about with the Great Awakening piece. Now, this article is from Forbes, and it came out. I shared it on the page. You can see it, but let me see the date on here. I don't see a date, but we know it's recent because they're talking about the pandemic. So I wanna so you can finish reading that, but I just wanted to introduce, because this stuff kind of got me thinking, how do we find we pull the best from each one? We have to pull the best from each one. And not just, family, listen, we can't afford no broken marriages, right? You know what I'm saying? We got to look out for our interests. No permanent friends, only permanent interests. You understand what I'm saying? What is our interest? Now, this is a good plan from this brother, right? It's a good plan. Now, the next question that we got to ask is, what about the reparations piece, and what can we pull from each one of these pieces? Because we got to understand the reparations is bigger than money. It's systematic changes, because it's systematic. It's a systematic. It's a structure and a systematic. It's how can I put it? You are being held back systematically, and unless we address the systematic oppression that you are under. And I know some of y'all like, I don't believe that. Ain't nobody oppressing me. You know what I'm saying? Just because nobody's sitting outside your door, you know what I'm saying, with a rope ready to lynch you, doesn't mean that you're not being oppressed. And just because you might be living good, I want you to think about some of your cousins that might not be. Some of your brothers and sisters, or some of our parents. I want some of y'all to think about the fact that many of us have been taught to escape. You know what I'm saying? In my age grade, I know I'm not the only one. We were taught to escape, right? And then you got to think back, what in the fuck were you escaping from? Right? You was taught to escape yourself, escape blackness. That's the bottom line. You know what I'm saying? Systematic oppression to the point where we don't even notice it no more. We think that it's just is natural, it's business as usual. This is the way it's supposed to be. Many of us our whole life, we've been taught how, not necessarily educated in how to live the best life. We've been educated in how to make the right white people comfortable. Come on now. And we got a couple of brothers like Robert Smith and Ice Cube and T.I. And we got the ADOS community. We got individuals in our community who either are saying, fuck it, if I don't got it by now, I ain't gonna get it. And we got others who got it right now that's like, look, this shit is not right. We need to do something about it. Right? And I'm saying, listen, let's stop taking shots. And let's start taking advice, and let's start looking at the best plans and putting the best together so that we could go and we could move up out of this situation that we in. Because we already know this shit ain't right. It ain't right. It's not healthy. How much should each person get for reparations? Johnny Two Socks. At this point in time, see, Johnny Two Socks, I'm not the expert. You know what I'm saying? But that is an excellent question. But what's more important to me, as far as the whole reparations piece, is getting the whole system piece off. Yep, there's gonna be a check, but I'm not the one. I'm not qualified to do the math to tell you what the check should be. But it's gonna be all right. You know what I'm saying? But the point is, we need to address the underlying issues, because even if there was a cash payment, if we do not eliminate the systematic systematic abuse, right? The abuse of the system, the systematic abuse, all that money will be gone in less than 10 years. I'm just saying. We'll have predatory loans popping off, all types of predatory shit going, you know what I'm saying? High people paying higher than usual interest rates. You know, the system is going to find a way to suck the money out if we don't address the underlying fact that this system was built up on black pain, black suffering. All right, so that's Robert Smith's piece. Let's see if I got something up here with Ice Cube get federal plan for Black America. Okay. And he did an interview with Roland Martin. A good interview. Go and check it out. T.I. pens open letter to Lloyd's of London. So T.I. is pushing his effort force, and in a sense, he is going along the track of Robert Smith, hitting up these companies. So Lloyd's of London's wrote a piece and said, "Hey, we apologize." And T.I., you know, shit, it was a door open. He ran through that motherfucker. Listen. I'm impressed that the brothers keeping up with shit like that. You know, people. I mean, it's like people complain and shit. We could fix all of this. You know what I'm saying? It's a matter of getting these brothers into a place with individuals who had the expertise. That's easy. Right? But we're not going to get it there by clowning and being disrespectful. That shit is not going to work. You know what I'm saying? And then always, I have a problem with motherfuckers and certifications and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, when all of the certifying bodies were designed to oppress us any goddamn way. Whenever you talk to somebody and they're talking about the education that somebody got, or, you know what I'm saying, all that shit was set up as an oppressive tool. Not saying that you can't get what you need to get out of these institutions. Not saying that we shouldn't use these institutions. But I'm very wary of people who only listen to motherfuckers that went to the best institutions. And all the best institutions just happen to be looking like your enemy. Get the fuck out of here. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it real. You know what I'm saying? You know, because we know some people, like, you know, John Henry Clark, self-educated, if I'm correct. Dr. John Henry Clark, self-educated. Right? You know what I'm saying? Many of our grandparents, some of the wisdom that they done gave us, many of us are still living our lives on. 3rd grade education. Some of the best information, some of the best advice you ever got. So I'm not putting all my trust in a motherfucker that graduated from Harvard. I'm not putting all my trust in I mean, there is something to be said about an individual who dedicates themselves to study. There is something that, and it's very important. But I get very scared when motherfuckers start looking for people who are qualified, and everybody that is qualified has been trained by your enemy. I mean, that shit is backwards. That shit is crazy. I want you to think about that. You are fighting a motherfucker. You're trying to beat a motherfucker, but the only people that you can get to help you have been trained by the people that you're trying to beat. Maybe that's why they've been unbeaten for so damn long. I don't know. But I don't know. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I mean, think about it. Could that be why they so unbeaten? Because many of the motherfuckers that they train is trying to come after their title. They got to train you. I know that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody ever heard the story about the master who had a certain amount of techniques, and he showed his students the techniques. And one of them, being the bastard that he was, said, fuck it. I got all the techniques. I could beat the master. So he challenges the master. And they go into the ring. And they move through the first 15 techniques. And the young man is able to deflect all of the moves. Then they move to the next 15. And the young man is able to kind of get the edge on the old master. But the old master still know the techniques, and he's blocking everything that the young man. So now they go to the next 30 techniques, and the young man is able to keep up with the master, and the master is like, people don't know what's going on. So that's 60 techniques we done went through. The student is, I'm with him, right? They go through another 30 techniques, and the master is like, he whispers in the student's ear, you doing good. I have taught you well. So now they up to 90 techniques. And the student is like, oh, I'm about to get his ass because there's only 99 techniques. So they move through technique 91. And the master grabs the student's arm, and the student reverses the grab, and then the master moves to number 92, and the student is able to block it. Then he moved to 93 and 94 and 95. And they just going back and forth. They get to 96. The student is getting hype and he feeling good. He get to 97, 98, 99. And the student said, I got him now. I done wore him down, this old man. But then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the student flies in the air in some type of lock that's so painful. And he's never experienced this, and he never seen this move before. And he like, Master, what was that? He said, that's technique 100. I've always saved it. And that's like us. We're going to the master that we want to be, and we're learning from the master that we want to be, not realizing that they always holding back a technique. Come on now. I ain't saying not to learn. Don't get me wrong. So y'all gonna read this about T.I. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, I'm just one of the mindset family. These individuals, whether we agree with the fact that they got reach or not, regardless of how you feel about them, they do have reach. You know what I'm saying? They have reach. They have an ability to gather a certain population of our people and bring a certain population of our people along with something that they do. They've been mastering this. And I think it's foolish to shoo them away. Like, get. Grown folk talk. Get. I think it's stupid. I think it's dangerous. I think it really makes us look like the kooks that a lot of motherfuckers was saying that we were a while ago. And I'm like, yo, man, shit. As Cube said, all hands on deck, goddammit. All hands on deck. But family, I see nobody's calling in. I'm about to roll. Let's go on in. Let's come on up out of here. Let's go on to full screen. But yeah, it was good to chill with y'all this morning. You know what I'm saying? Didn't have to worry about nothing. Everything. Well, I mean, we did kind of have to start it over, but that's cool. And I am going to download and upload to Spreaker right now as we speak. I want to thank everybody for tuning in and checking us out. Let me go on and make sure I get a picture for. Yeah, we get. Hold on. All right. Anyway, family. We about to get up. So there's nothing else to say, I guess. I love y'all. Thank you for your support. Let's keep it moving.
I am a genius. My ancestors were geniuses. My ancestors have made me a genius in all that I think, say, and do. I must declare myself a genius. I am a genius. Whenever I am myself, I practice my geniusness and do great things. All my thoughts, choices, and deeds must express my geniusness.
I am a genius. My decisions must always be in the best interest of myself, my family, my people, and my God. Only then will I and everyone I know that I am a genius.
I am a genius. At all times, my geniusness must reflect my culture. My geniusness must serve my God. My geniusness must make me be one in love and harmony with my family. My geniusness must protect my people. Yes, at all times I must demonstrate excellence because I am a. What is a lion without his pride? What is a whale without his pod? What is a monkey without his troop? What is a wolf without his pack?